everyone. Welcome to today's chair yoga. We're getting started just a little bit late, but no big deal. I have my handy dandy chair yoga book in front of me, and we'll get through this together. I hope everyone is doing well and had a wonderful weekend. My name is Chris Hudspeth. I'm a yoga, I wouldn't say instructor, I just share what I know. I wouldn't call myself a yoga teacher or instructor. I wouldn't necessarily be able to teach other people how to teach, which is what teachers usually are able to do. But I do like to share yoga with folks and you know, kind of share space with everyone. So welcome back. Who is here today, if I might take a look? Oh, Astrid's here, Justin, Sally, Teresa, nice to see you guys. Well, not see you, but no need. So for the class, for what I'm going to be sharing with you guys, if you have any questions, certainly ask. But what I try to do is usually I have my eyes closed a lot of times since we're sitting down during the yoga instruction. And I try to give give proper instruction that you can have your eyes closed too, if you so choose. Or if you have headphones on, that's okay. The main thing is is safety, making sure we have enough room around us to do, like have our arms out and our legs out. So I have a little bit of a chair in front of me, so I have to move it. But we want our arms out and our legs, be able to have our arms out and our legs out without kicking something, without hitting something, without hitting a screen in front of us. So do the best you can. And again, welcome to the MS Focus yoga class. So what I'd like to do is start just with a welcome, which I kind of, it means that I honor the light that's in you, that I also honor in myself. And that is by saying namaste. And a lot of people are using, instead of shaking hands now with COVID, they use namaste or it's just a very nice greeting. That means it's hello, but it's also I honor you and the same way you honor me and vice versa. There are different interpretations of that. But generally speaking, it's honoring the light in each other, recognizing that, looking at each other in the eye when we say it, little bow possibly, and as opposed to, you know, shaking hands and hugs and stuff. It's a little bit more forgiving and also generous at the same time. So welcome everyone, namaste. And what I'd like to do is just start with some breathing, as we do. Yoga is about, means union, and it's just bringing our heart and our mind and our body kind of getting it all back together again. With our busy schedules and with life, it kind of gets out of whack sometimes. So we try to take time for ourselves. So I want to, you know, appreciate you guys coming and taking the time to do this. It's an important aspect. It's not just the integration. It's not just the physical movement. It's not just the breathing. It's the actual showing up, which makes a big difference. So thank you guys for being here. So I'm just going to put my hands on my knees, and I hope everyone has a good intention for today that you can share throughout the day. Might be, we mentioned last week, might be reading a chapter in a book that you has been sitting on your nightstand for or on the table for months, and you're like, oh, I'll get around to it. Well, maybe today's the day to do that. Or just being gentle with yourself, being more gentle with yourself, or being more gentle with others, or needing or giving forgiveness. So when we breathe in and out, I want you to think of an intention that you can do. It doesn't have to be anything you do. It could be something you stop doing. It could be something that you want to do. Maybe it is the intention was just to take a yoga class, which is perfect. But maybe you have a project that you've been working on, or you just want to make a phone call, someone you need to call and say hello to. Just put that into, it's like planting a little seed at the beginning of class. and it can nourish along the way. And we nourish it with our breaths and our thoughts along the way, to try to get over any obstacles we might have. So I like to just start with my eyes shut and take a nice deep breath in through your nose, hold it for a second, and out through our mouth. In through our nose, out through our mouth. With every breath, you're going to feel yourself sinking a little bit deeper. I just want you to be mindful that you're not over to one side or another, that you're a little bit more straight up. With each breath, you kind of, your sitting bones, if you will, sit a little bit firm, more firm. And you should start feeling pretty relaxed. And again, while I'm speaking, you could do some breathing. It's totally okay. Just keep it natural. In and out. When I'm sharing breathing with you, it's more of a reminder rather than an instruction. So feel free to please breathe on your own. Try to keep it in that same sort of just nice, soft in, hold for a second, let it out. So when you breathe in, think of your intention. You don't have to do it always and every time, and I'll remind you throughout the class, just breathe it in and out. Also, keeping in mind, you don't have to share your intention with anyone else. It's for you. Could be your mantra for the day. It could just be a word, peace. It could be sharing. It could be love. It could be any number of words. As long as they're positive, I think it's probably the best way to start. So deep breath in and exhale. Now, one of the things we want to be mindful of with breathing is we don't want to overheat, right? We want to make sure that we're keeping our breath nice and cool. And that's the one thing with chair yoga is we try to keep things kind of cool as opposed to warming our bodies too much, because we don't want that. We don't want to use all the energy at the beginning of the day. So we just want to make it nice and gentle. What I start doing at this point, as I continue to breathe in through my nose and out through my mouth, is I just start kind of, and you can't see it, but you might be able to see me moving back and forth a little bit. So I start doing what's called pumping my legs. And I'm just squeezing all the muscles in my legs on either side at different times. So it'll be the left, then right, almost like I'm walking, but I'm not. And I have my hands on my knees and almost like I'm walking. So I'm pressing my heel into the ground. I don't have shoes on. You don't need shoes. If you have shoes, that's fine. But I just press into the ground and I feel it kind of gets blood flowing, because we are sitting. So we want to make sure that blood keeps flowing to our legs. So I just pump my legs a little bit. And then there's no wrong way to do it. We're just keeping them flat on the ground. And then I squeeze my big muscles in my legs and push my heel into the ground. Hope that helps. And we're just it's almost like we're walking, but we're not. And just breathing in and out. This is kind of the beauty of chair yoga, is it gives us a balanced place to be. All right, and this just keeps, and we'll do this a couple times throughout. All right, now we're going to relax just for a sec. Take a deep breath in and out. Now, with this next out, depending on the type of chair you have, if you have arms, it might be a little bit challenging. See if you can get your arms just to come to the side. Okay, I'm going to back up this. You might be able to see me a little bit better. Let's see if I can do that without, I don't know, does that help? How about this? Is that weird? I don't know. Is that weird? You can see me now. You can see me much better. All right. So, so what I was doing earlier was just kind of doing this, where I'm going up and down with my legs. And this is something You know, the cool thing is with chair yoga, you can do this in the car. You can do this pretty much anywhere. If there's a, you know, if you're waiting somewhere, an office, or just waiting and you happen to be seated, you can always do this sort of stuff if you feel like it, and it just helps get some blood flow, and it really kind of puts you in a place of mindfulness, which just, if you're in a place of chaos, it helps kind of bring in the chaos. So we're going to take one deep breath, exhale, and just let our arms drop to the side. No big deal. No big deal. I decided not to do any handstands this week, so, or headstands or anything like that. Nothing crazy this week. We'll save that for next week. All right, so we're going to come back here. We just want to relax our arms. And then we're just both arms up and out. Take a deep breath in. And we're just going to do some simple rotation of the thumbs. This is just to remind our hands that they are important to us, that we give them some love. And then we're just going to start rotating our hands and our fingers like this, like we're kneading bread. I always knead bread. I like bread. Kneading by eating bread. Not the best, but. All right, so we're going to rotate around. Sorry for the bad jokes. They just kind of come out. But laughter yoga is one of the types of yoga that's available as well. So I certainly do not have a certification of that, but you know, we can always hope. All right. So I'm just rotating my hands like this, and gently I'm going to start rotating other parts of my arm. Right. So if you're in a chair that has sides on it, you might need to put your hands out a little bit. You might need to do a little bit more like this, raised up, which is fine. That's a beautiful thing with chair yoga, is it's adaptable. So all we're doing is really just getting some blood going here. Now we're going to squeeze like we have tennis balls in our hands. All right, so we're just going to squeeze like we crushed the tennis ball. All right. Feel the tips of your fingers and just close them slowly. We don't have to squeeze super hard. We just want to get blood flowing to our fingers. And then rotate again. And slowly bring it down. Because our shoulders, having our arms up here for a long time can really, you know, get our shoulders. So we're going to give that some love. Little bits at a time, right? Little increments at a time, nothing big, right? So just circle out. I like to put my hand on my shoulder so I can feel my muscles moving. Make sure I still have some. Make sure they're still there. Now we're going to switch to the other side. All right. Okay. And all this stuff kind of leads up to other items later in the day. So we're just going to bring our arms back down. Deep breath in, head up, chin out. Exhale. Next time, I'd like for you to push all the air out that you can, as much as you can, right? We want to make sure we don't pass out. We want to make sure we have balance, but we want to get rid of some of that air that gets deep down inside, especially if we sit a lot. A lot of the air can sit down in our diaphragm. We want to make sure we push that out, and without getting too heated up, it's kind of tough to do. But a way we can do that is take a deep breath in. I like to put my hand on my diaphragm. Take a little bit more of a breath, and then exhale through the mouth. And I just like to have the diaphragm in check, to feel it right here. I don't press against it really to do any of the work. And I just let it go out slowly as much as I can. And then I pull in my navel, my belly button, and push out as much air as possible. Let's try it one more time. little bit more air. And exhale. Now we want to do this as slow as possible without getting lightheaded, of course. What we want to try to avoid is a big inhalations and big exhalations, because that can heat our bodies up a great deal really fast. In fact, there's something called breath of fire that when you do that, it's like it's kind of like a bagpipe, right? And just and it and it heats things up. We don't want to do that. We want to make sure the breath in is slow and the exhale is as slow, maybe even slower. Now, one thing that I want to make sure is, and I try to try to avoid at all costs, because I'm not sure of the spaces that you're in. What we want to avoid is bending forward, right? Because what we don't want to do is fall out of our chair or bending like this to the side or this to the side. We want to stay as straight up as we can. Okay. So with what we're going to do next, I'd like for you to, leading with your thumb, your right hand or left hand, it doesn't matter. Take a breath in and exhale. Take another breath in and raise this arm up. Okay. And get it as high as you can. Try, if you can get it next to your ear, that's fine. If it's out in front, that's okay. It is going to make slightly a difference on where it's at and how this feels. Because what I would like for you to do is press your left leg or your right leg, your opposite leg, into the ground. Take a deep breath. And bend, don't bend like this. Bend just from the ribs over and just stretch, try to press this arm over, but not bending the neck too much, right? So we get a stretch right here. And exhale. A little bit deeper if you can. Inhale. Exhale. And we're going to bring our arm down slowly. Slowly. We don't want to do anything fast. Now we're going to go the opposite side. If you're on your right, switch to your left, and vice versa. And again, press down with your opposite leg. If you want to press down with both legs, if that's easier, do that as well. Okay, we just want to make sure that we stay grounded. Right? So if I say stay grounded, that's kind of what I mean. Just kind of press in, but not like you're trying to stand up, but just before you stand up. Okay. Deep breath in, exhale. Next breath, we're going to bring our arm up, leading with the thumb. We reach the top, we exhale. All right, same thing. We're going to bend, but we're not doing any twists or any bends like this, right? We're not trying to touch our toes or anything like that. We just want to have our hands up. Very gentle stretch as we go over. Slight bend of the head is okay. What we don't want is head like this. All right, so just slight bend. Don't overdo it. Remember to press your legs into the ground. This will help keep you in your seat. All right, another deep breath. So you can go a little bit further. Exhale. All right, and one more, and we'll bring our hand down. Exhale and release. So by doing this, this helps open up our rib cage and our lungs, which sometimes when we sit, if we sit and we're bent over, if we're in front of the computer, we're driving a car for a long time, this area gets really beat up. So we want to make sure that we can, and that can affect our breathing, our heart rate, all kinds of stuff in here. So getting this loosened up first is really helpful. We're going to do another one. We have our hands up in front. We're going to clasp our hands and point like we're doing a Charlie's Angels pose, right? You know how they, I don't know if you know Charlie's Angels, but I'm kind of showing my age, but if you do, it's kind of like that sort of pose, right? But take a deep breath in And we're going to exhale and go up slightly. We're going to try to dump without locking our elbows. We're going to try to get our arms out as far as we can. The goal is to release your shoulders, get your shoulders to go out, but not necessarily your elbows. I can do the same thing like this, but we want to have good posture. So I bring my fingers all the way out. So take a deep breath in. Exhale, we're going to go a little higher. Now we're going to try and keep our shoulders down. So we don't want to be scrunched up where it's hurting our neck, right? Soften as much as you can in your chair. Remember, if you need to press something, if you feel you need to press your feet into the ground. Take a deep breath in, up a little higher. Now we're here. Now we're going to do the same thing we just did. We're just going to rock a little bit back and forth, right? Deep breath in. We're going to rock to this way. And rock this way. Breathe in and exhale. Stop in the center. Now we are actually going to do a bend over. So we're going to press our feet into the ground, take a deep breath in, and bend a little bit deeper. This time we have this arm to help guide us and help pull this arm. So this arm isn't doing all the work. Another way you can do this is grab your hand or your wrist and pull. Right, slightly, like you don't want to grab your arm, forearm, and yank, right? Very gentle. Deep breath in and over. Right, this just gives us a little bit more space. Now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Ground in if you need to, using your legs. Take a deep breath in and go over. This is a modified version of what's called the Crescent, which is to resemble the moon. So if we were standing up, we would be bending from our hips over and try to get as much stretch as we can. It's a little bit challenging in the chair to do that, but we do the best we can. We want to make sure that we're still seated in our chair, that we're not lifting up and over too much. Right? We want to make sure that we're safe and not falling over. Again, if you have armrests on your side, that might be a little challenging. Try not to hit your elbows. Just try and get over as much as you can. All right, so release it, bring it back down, take a deep breath in, and exhale as you bring it down. Okay. Now we just want to rotate our shoulders, our right shoulder, because that might have loosened some stuff up or it might have made it a little bit more tense. So we just want to do one shoulder at a time. All right, I'm doing my right shoulder. Deep breath in. Now my left shoulder. Now I feel myself warming up, so I'm going to take this off. We're in Florida, where we had tornadoes yesterday. We're not getting the Arctic blast the rest of the country has gotten, but it's a little chilly this morning. So I like to get my my skin warmed up, and then once it's warmed up, and I do some stretching, and then I can release that. You might hear some puppy dogs in the background. They have very high pitched voices, and again, maybe at your place you have the same thing. I mention it, but we try to keep it. I try to make sure I laugh when it's going on, because it's just so silly sounding. Those are my little buddies, but I can't have them in here because otherwise their faces would be on the camera. We wouldn't be able to see anything and get nothing done. We'd be giving doggy treats. So we started with our right shoulder rotating. We're going to change to our left shoulder or whatever opposite shoulder. And all we're really doing is we are pressing out. I keep this shoulder flat against the back of the chair. The shoulder comes out, up, back, and down. All right. So it's 4 positions. So take a deep breath in, out, up, back, and down. We're going to do the same thing again with both shoulders this time. So we're going to take a deep breath in, forward, up, back, and down. Again, forward, up, back, and down. Deep breath in, forward, up, back, and down. All right. Forward, up, back, and down. And all these things do is it helps loosen this area, right? All of this area. Okay. Now let's move to our legs, all right? Because there's only so much we can do, right? We can do some some twists like this. Actually, let's do that before we get to our legs. We're going to stay grounded. Take a deep breath in. I'm going to put my hand not on my knee, just above my knee, right? So I'm going to put, I'm putting my left hand just north of my right knee, if you will, not on my knee. We don't want it on the knee because if we press and pull, we want to have something a little bit more stable, right? And there's a way you can do this. If you can, you press against, you hold your leg, don't grab it, right? You don't want to grab it, you just need to place it there. And so I have my left hand on my right leg, on the outside of my right leg. And I'm going to take a deep breath. And I'm going to twist in the direction to the right. All right. Just going to do a little body twist. And this kind of is all from what we were leading up to before. Another deep breath in. Another deep breath in. And relax, right? Let your elbow drop. One more time. And twist a little bit deeper. And then now we're going to switch sides. I'm going to bring my right hand over to my left leg. Same principle, not against your knee at all. Okay. Your other hand is going to depend on what type of chair you're in. Sometimes I like to put my hand on my knee, just to, on my left hand on my hip, just as extra support. Again, if you have a chair that you're in that has armrests, it might be a little difficult. You can put your hand on the armrest. That works just fine too, as a support. And now we're going to take a breath in from the center. We're just going to turn to the left as much as we can. We're going to let our head follow as well. We're going to do this again on the right side. But this time, let your head follow. And exhale. And one more time. And exhale and release. Now we're going to switch back over to the right again. Deep breath in. Over to the right. As much as you can. This time you can turn your head to help release the neck a little bit more. Do what's comfortable for you, please. Right? If that does not feel comfortable, please don't do that. All right? But if it does, if it suits you, go ahead and do it. For some of these, I like to tuck in my belly. I try to engage my belly button, right? And release. And a lot of the reason we do that is it kind of signifies, I mean, everyone has a belly button of some sort. You know, when we were inside our moms, you know, that was our attachment to the mother. And what we try to do with yoga is not reclaim it, but like get back to a space of safety, of security, of softness and gentleness. And the belly button is kind of that reminder of that. So I try to engage it as much as I can. And it helps with the diaphragm and breathing as well. Okay. I hope everyone is doing okay so far. I can't see any thumbs or any hands up or thumbs up, but certainly let us know how you guys are doing. If you need to take a break, you know, certainly open your eyes, grab a little glass of water, and then we can continue. If you're not doing that, we're just going to breathe again for a second and get centered. So one thing I mentioned last week, if you joined us, was kind of the chair yoga is, yes, we're in a chair, but there's also an acronym involved, and that's centering, heating. The C is for centering, which we've been doing. Heating, which we don't do as much because we don't want to get our internal bits hot. So we don't heating that much, but that's what kind of the rotating of the shoulders and doing the lifts and things like that do. A is for asana, and asana is just it's a fancy word in yoga that means movement, basically. There are 8 limbs of yoga, meaning there are 8 different ways to practice yoga. one of them is the movements, and that's what we do. And when we do the crescent, that was an asana. We'll do some more of that stuff as well. There's also a warrior pose that we'll do. And then I is integration. That means we kind of integrate into like what is real world type stuff, things that we can use. And then R is for relaxation. So we're still at asana right now, and centering. It doesn't have to be any particular order. All right. So now we've been using our legs a lot, right? Trying to ground in. So they might be somewhat tired or somewhat warmed up. But what we want to do is just be gentle with our legs. What I like to do is, if you can, is take your foot out like this and rotate the ankle around. So I start on my right, go to my right clockwise. And then, I mean, if it's digital clock, it's completely different, but we're pretending we're old school clock people. And then we're going to switch and go counterclockwise. And same on the other side. You might hear some bones, some joints kind of snap, crackle, pop. That's okay, as long as it's not painful. If it's painful, please stop. All right, we just want to, this is meant to be gentle, right? But we all have different sort of things going on. I injured my back a couple of years ago, and it's never been the same since. So I have to be gentle in certain poses as well. But this helps when I'm done because I can stretch, especially early in the morning. Okay. And then once you're done with your ankles, you bring them back in. And sometimes you can switch back and forth. It's okay if you don't hear me say the switch. I just try to guide, but if I forget, please think it's okay to switch. If you feel like you've done enough on one side, you can always go back to the other side, right? And sometimes you do it twice, you do it a few times, whatever feels good. Now we're going to ground again. Now we're going to do the integration where we do things that are going to be kind of helpful with balance. And the first one is I'm going to bring my arm up like we had before. And if you can, bring your leg out and up at the same time. Same leg and same arm. So I'm going to start on the right-hand side. Now, if you can't put your leg out, that's okay. Just lift your knee up as best that you can and your arm up as best as you can. We're going to try and get as high as we can with this, especially our arm. But if we end up out somewhere, that's okay. We just want to do what we can. So take a deep breath in and lift up and kick out if you can. Now you can kick out with your heel. That's always nice. That gives a nice stretch to the back of the knee, or you can press forward with your toe. I prefer my heel out as opposed to my toe forward. I get a little bit deeper stretch with this. But again, if it's something that's hurtful or painful, don't do it. Right? But it helps for the back of the leg. We're just going to hold this for a second. Deep breath in. Relax the other half of your body if you can. Right? Let this side do the work. Let this side relax. And exhale, we're going to bring it down. All right, bring it back in. If you can't do that, no big deal. But trying to lift, the goal is to help with your hip and get the arm out and leg out as best you can. Now we're going to switch sides. All right. So we're going to go to, if you were on the right last time, we're going to switch to the left. If you're on the left, go to the right. All right, here we go. Deep breath in. Kick your leg out and arm up. Exhale, go a little bit higher, breath in. Do as much as you can. Again, I like to kick my heel, have my heel kind of pointing, if you will, so it stretches the back of my the back of my knee, because it's all connected, right? The hip, the heel bone's connected to the hip bone or the knee bone or whatever it is. And you can also do, if it feels good, you can also do a foot rotation out here. You can also do a hand rotation up top. Okay. And then we're going to bring it back down. So these are things that we can do just in 5 minutes. We don't have to have all the ceremony, right, that we did in the beginning. These are things that can be done gently throughout the day. If you're watching a television program or Netflix, or you're or something's going on before dinner, you can do this. So now we're going to do integration, where your right hand's going to be up and your left leg's going to be up. All right, so it's going to look like this. All right, so we're going to take a deep breath in, exhale. Think of the intention you set earlier as well with this inhale, right? Exhale, because this is where we also integrate that intention by doing these poses and moves. It helps integrate by doing something along with the intention. All right, so deep breath in, arm up. So this is opposite, right arm up, left leg out, or left knee up, either way. All right, again, with the heel, I like to press it out. Try to keep my shoulder low, right? My arm up, but my shoulder low, if that makes sense. I try not to have my shoulder way close to my ear. We're not trying to get a question answered in class, right? We just need to have it so it comes up, almost like we're opening a door, right? So nothing extra. Shouldn't engage too much of the shoulder in the back. Deep breath in and exhale. And with any of these, if you need to stop early, it's totally okay. The only thing I ask is that however you close out slowly and gently, that you don't just drop, right? Because that's how we can get injured. So we just want to make sure, and these are a little bit more intense, so we just want to make sure that we're gently bringing stuff to a close, that we're not slamming the door shut, if you will. Hopefully that makes sense. Because the quick movements are not necessarily good. All right, so we're going to do the same thing opposite side. I'm going to be using my left arm and right leg. All right, so take a deep breath in, exhale. Deep breath in, I'm going to start raising up and kicking out. Keeping my shoulder kind of low and my heel pressed down. Again, if you want to rotate around with your foot or your hand, feel free to do that. Inhale, exhale. Bring everything back together. Super slow, nice, neat, and easy. All right, I'm just going to check the time. Where are we at? All right, so we have about 15 minutes. A little bit more than 15 minutes, but let's see. So now we're going to do, and I hope you have enough room, we're going to put our arms straight out like this. Okay, I'll show you first. I'll demonstrate first, just so you're on the same page. What I like to do is I like to have my thumb as kind of it's called a drishti, something I can focus on, right? So we'll do, it's called a warrior pose. And what it is it just helps kind of focus, helps with focus and intention. So again, we're going to take a deep breath in and exhale. The next breath, we're going to bring both our arms up, right? Like we're getting ready to fly, take off like an airplane. We're going to turn our hands up, right? So our palms are facing out, so they're not facing down, so they're facing out. We're not going to go backwards. We're just going to have our palms facing out. Have your thumbs engaged, meaning have them up. Don't have them loosey-goosey, right? So have our thumbs engaged like this. The rest of your hand, you can either make a fist with, a very soft fist, or you can open it up. Now, there are various ways. I'm just keeping my legs forward like this. There are various ways of doing warrior pose. You can in certain cases, we could stand up and do certain things, but I like to keep it pretty simple since we're at home and we might not have the space that we would in a larger space. But it's the same sort of goal. right? So take a deep breath in. We're going to open up like we're expecting a giant hug. Our thumbs are up. And then we're just going to turn our heads to one way and the other. All right, so I'm going to turn to my left. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. Take another deep breath in. I'm going to lean into this slightly like this. I'm not going to bend into it. Right, I'm just going to, from my hips, my legs are still straight. I'm not moving my legs. In fact, I ground in and I just kind of push forward a little bit and I look at my thumb. And I come back to the center, take a deep breath, I go to the other side. Come back to the center, other side. Back to the center, and then the other side. And exhale. And we're going to bring our arms down and exhale. If everyone's doing okay, let me see. So we've done most everything. I hopefully everyone's feeling okay. I feel our legs could use a little bit more something. So I think what we'll do is I'm going to do like kind of like I'm walking, right? And this will be more for the hip, but it's also really for our toes, because our toes get jammed up in our shoes, and they need to get in order for really to have good flexibility. It helps that our feet and our ankles are not locked into place. It's very important for that. So if you can, if you have shoes on, it's okay. If you don't have shoes on, it might be a little bit easier to do this. So I'm just lifting up. I'm keeping my toes on the ground, but my ankles are lifting up off the ground. And I have my hands on my knees, which is cool. And I'm just pumping like I'm walking, right? So now we're cooling down a little bit. Right? We've done, like, just having our arms up in the air for that amount of time can really get our blood flowing there, right? Because all that blood just comes down and we just try to recirculate. Inhale and exhale. And we're just pumping our feet like we're walking. Not riding the bike, not doing anything crazy, we're just walking. Okay. We're going to start slowing down and holding it. Take a deep breath in. And exhale. Let that foot go down, other one comes up. And exhale. Now we're just going to sit for a second. All right, we're going to take a deep breath in. If there's something that we've not done that you have done in a previous class, maybe this is your first time, but it feels like, oh, I would like to maybe go across like this. You know, maybe grab my arm. I need my shoulders don't feel great. You know, feel free to do that now. Get your own free movement. I like to do. I call it. It's like, I don't call it anything. It's really like it's like painting the sky. It's almost like making an infinity symbol, where you're cutting with a sword any number of things. And this is fun for the shoulders and mid back. And then you switch. So whatever you do, just do it on both sides of your body, so it's even. So you don't, because you don't want to be like, oh, I didn't, walking around, where you feel uneven. You want to get both sides even. All right. So there's a little bit of free flow, doing what you want to do. If you want to paint the fence up, if anyone's familiar with Karate Kid TV or Cobra Kai TV show, movie came back in the 80s. They paint the fence. Right? So you're just using your wrist, going up and going down. These are all asanas, right? For yoga, these are all things that show up in different poses in different ways. Sometimes it's how you get into a pose. Sometimes it's how you get out of a pose. Sometimes it is the pose. most poses in yoga are named after animals or constellations or some sort of reference to either an elephant or a crow or a warrior, like the warrior pose is one. Not all of them, but some of them. And I don't know all the names of them. I just kind of more know the asana for it and what it's attached to and what we want to kind of accomplish with it. So one thing, if you have the room, now we want to focus. We did a little bit with our ankles and our knees. I mean our toes. We want to give our knees some love as well. Our knees get a lot of work, and giving them, even though we're sitting down, now's a perfect time because they're not locked into place. And just what I like to do is I don't like super massage, but I just like try to feel some of what's going on in there if I can. And just because anytime you press against something like this, it actually, can help bring blood and oxygen to that area if it needs it. And it's just nice to be able to give it some good energy. Right. And then you can go up your thigh a little bit if you want, and then back down. It's always good. So the last part of the practice is, again, I'm going to check the time. So we have 10 minutes. Is the R, which is most people's favorite part, which is relaxation. The one thing with relaxation, and it's also called savasana, is you don't want to fall out of your chair. We don't want that to happen, of course. So we make sure that we're pretty firm in our seat, that we're not like way up here, right? We try not to be way up here. We try to be a little bit farther back in our seat with our backs up, but relaxed. We don't want to be down like this where we're going to fall out and our head's pressed against something. We want to make sure that we're relaxed, but we're up kind of close, upright. We don't want to fall over to the sides, right? Which can happen. So just take a deep breath in and exhale. And if you feel yourself slipping in the middle of it, it's perfectly okay to bring yourself back into balance. That's the most important thing. So deep breath in and exhale. We're going to start letting our body just kind of wind down and appreciate the effort that we put in today. It's not easy showing up for a Zoom yoga class with a person you don't know. It's not easy to do that. That takes courage, and I appreciate you guys coming. And if you have any comments or questions, you can certainly let us know, or anything you'd like for us to do that you've seen in other classes. So again, just take a deep breath in. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. And you can start letting your arms kind of fall to the side, right? We just want to be mindful of what we're doing. Right? It's okay to do it. Just want to be mindful of what we're doing. Deep breath in, and exhale. I want you to kind of focus in on your heart and kind of how your heart feels. So when you take another deep breath in, and relax a little bit. So make sure your eyes are closed, but don't like squeeze them closed, right? You just want a very gentle, where you can still see light, but it's not pitch black, but it's but your eyes are closed, lips are soft, face is soft. There's nothing to do right now except relax. Take another deep breath in, exhale. Now we're going to start coming back. We just want to take a little brief relaxation pause, nothing too crazy. We're just going to start shaking at our hands a little bit, maybe bend our, start doing kind of how we started with rotating our ankles and wrists and just getting some body flow moving, taking it easy. If you can bend from the waist over. That kind of helps wake you up. Another deep breath in. Little twists are fine, totally cool. We just want to make sure we're not overdoing stuff. All right. And just remember the intention you set at the beginning of class. Take a deep breath in and exhale. And a deep breath in and exhale. And the next inhale, we're going to open our eyes. So inhale, exhale, and gently open our eyes. And just center. Inhale, exhale. Just before we finish, I want to thank you again for coming to today to the chair yoga. Please share with your friends, family members, anyone who'd like to join us, that they are welcome to join us as well on Zoom. And the more the merrier. And we're happy to have people come in and who can use the practice of chair yoga as well. Sorry, my door opened and I was hearing some sounds, so I wanted to make sure that we were we had our space. But if you have any, if you guys have any questions about things that you can do, because this can be done, any of the bits can be found online as well. And you don't always need to take an hour class, but just for stuff through the week, they're easy yoga stretches, and it's really about the mindfulness and how we get into it that can be helpful, especially in stressful environments that we get into. I find myself breathing at during, if I have to drive somewhere and it's stressful, coming into a little bit of yoga practice to help me get through that time. Or if I'm, we're in weird times now and all kinds of stress. So the breathing, we need that oxygen to help our brain and heart make really good decisions. So hopefully it helps you guys as well. Does anyone have any questions by chance? Yay, nay? If you don't, that's okay. Totally cool. It's great to see everyone. I mean, I can kind of see you, but I appreciate. Oh, awesome, Justin. Thank you for coming, man. Yeah, we try not to get it too crazy for folks, but the movement is important to help keep us healthy. I would suggest after any yoga class is to make sure you drink plenty of fluids, mostly water and things like that, whatever your doctor or you recommend to yourself. Maybe have a light snack after, nothing too salty or sugary, but some celery is always good, I find, or carrots, something that has some good stuff in it, is helpful as well. We'll meet here again next Monday for another class. So if you guys have any questions between now and then, my name is Chris Hudspeth, but my email is pretty easy to remember. It's chris@msfocus.org. And I'm happy to to answer any questions. And there are other, if you go on our YouTube channel, there are other yoga classes that we've done from the summer, starting in the summer, that are on our YouTube channel. If you want to find one for during the week, they're really good too. And those were done by Michelle Matthews, I believe. She's really good. And so it's my honor to really kind of step in and go along a little journey with you guys, especially at the beginning of the year. And today, of course, is Martin Luther King Jr.'s celebration, and just honoring him, with some peaceful thoughts for our time, for the times that we're in, for people to get along and have conversations. And one of the blessings with yoga is it helps kind of open up conversation channels. So hopefully it can keep things calm and cool and collected. And may you be that person, being calm, cool, and collected. So thank you guys again. Namaste. And I will see you guys. We'll see each other hopefully again next week.